Boogie with the Bull, Red Friday morning caffeine, and I got it right, but I wasn't fast enough this morning. But that's okay. We are live on my profile on Facebook and on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, which you all know is www.youtube.com/at Dave Glovin. If anyone clicks on Street Lock X or Wimkin, we will be live from Wimkin. And we'll see you on the Boogie with the Bull channel. With me today is Randy Rhodes, our co host and news director of Boogie with the Bull. And if you turn your mic on, you'll be able to talk. No, it's more fun if you turn your mic on.
Yeah. I was doing some stuff here. I didn't want the noise going over the microphone. There's a lot to talk about today. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of bad stuff. I got videos to show, and then they're not quite in order, but I'll try to place some kind of a symbolic, uh, intelligent order. But let me get some of my caffeine in me first.
Some
Oh, I
caffeine.
got, I got, I got good news about that too.
Okay.
Hmm.
Well, caffeine is an important subject on morning caffeine. So tell us first about caffeine, because you said you have exciting news about it.
Yes. I worked like 10, 12 hours a day doing genealogies, and even beyond that sometimes. And my favorite friend is caffeine, and I think I drink like 3 pots a day. Um, but I'm serious about that. But the coffee pot that my wife chose is one of those stainless steel ones, the stainless steel carafe. And it's nice. Don't get me wrong. You can take the pot and put it onto the table, if you're serving, a guest, whatever. But it only keeps the coffee hot like maybe 2 hours. So uh, our microwave was a really good friend to the coffee machine because we'd always be heating up our coffee. Like I said the other day, it died on us. It went to microwave heaven, and we were like using the stove to heat up our coffee. Oh my God, we went old school. And yesterday morning, I woke up to a text as the my landlord's one of my landlord's handyman says, "Hey, Randy, is it okay to stop by at 6:30 tonight to bring your new microwave?" I said, "Absolutely." So last night he came, and I want to tell you what. My landlord had me take a picture of the old microwave in the where it was installed at in between the refrigerator and so forth, right? And so I sent the picture, and this guy brought a brand. I was amazed, which probably means my rent's going to go up. I hope not, but that guy, I kind of got a feeling about it. But he brought me a brand new out of the box microwave, and that puppy fit perfect. All the guy had to do was take the old one out, slide the new one in, and he was done. He was out the door. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's a Samsung microwave. It is gorgeous, and it heats up like a charm. So,
Cool.
thank you, landlord. The Rhodes family really do appreciate the speedy response to our needs. Um,
Okay.
Now, having said all that, um, let's start with Red Shirt Friday. We're both wearing red shirts, and hopefully, the people who are watching us are also wearing something that's red. It doesn't have to be, a shirt. It could be pants. It could be, undergarments, or just, something.
I'm not
Um,
showing you my red
yeah,
undergarment, but I
thank
am
you,
wearing.
thank you, thank you so much for that. That really is a load off of my mind. Okay, um, so just give me one moment to respond to this one guy who just texted me.
Okay. Randy's busy
Live
texting me. We're live on Facebook. We're live
will.
on YouTube. We're live on Street Lock if you click the button. X if you click the button. And Wimkin if you click the button. And if you
Okay.
can't find the button on those three, then you can go to my profile on each one of those three, Dave Glovin, and click the button over there. Uh,
So let's start with some things close to home, and then we'll go international. I'm sure by now most everyone who follows Dave or myself, um, have seen the news about New York being under the snow, the last two big snowstorms, and the New York police officers, they may not be military per se, but they definitely wear a uniform. They definitely deserve our support and our prayers from the conservative people of our nation because they are certainly not getting it from the left or the socialists or the communists.
Yes, they are.
Unfortunately, New York City has all that, and it's a crime. I would love to know how that guy got voted in. All I can think of is that the Republicans stayed at home and sat on their thumbs and did absolutely nothing. And now they are reaping the harm that this guy is doing to this once beautiful city. The snow came down, the plows did not go out. The mayor called on the citizens to grab a shovel, and if you want to be paid, show two valid IDs to get paid. Although he doesn't want the IDs to vote for the next election because why? He wants the illegals to vote, and that's probably what happened here. Um, and these police officers are facing a reduction of salary. They're facing reduction of numbers. They're not getting support from the mayor or the governor's office, or for that matter, the police commissioner, because he answers to both of them. If they make a bona fide arrest, the people are back out on the street. And I'll mention that in a second. And they're criticized every step of the way. And in a way, my wife and I, we watched True Bloods, and it was about police officers and the commissioner family in New York. I mean, it was true to the cause. And towards the end, it started bringing in the politics of how the mayor's office was turning against the police officers. And I think personally that's what killed it because they're starting to show the actors making arrests, but then the next thing you know, the bad guys back out on the street. They can't shoot at the offenders. They have to try and talk them down. And I think that's what brought that show to a screeching halt because it became political. But yesterday, these police officers are walking their beat, and they walk past a bunch of hooligans. I'm calling them hooligans. That's what they are. Because in my day, as a child, as a teenager, I never would have thought once about throwing a snowball at a police officer unless he or she were participating back at me. But these guys got plummeted by snowballs, not just snowballs, but snowballs that were frozen. They're like a block of ice, or in some cases they had rocks in them because several of the officers had to go to the hospital to be treated. So I do have a video. Actually, I have two videos on this particular subject. I think it's screen one. Get the screen one.
Get the screen
Boom.
one.
Wait, let me make sure I get the audio. Hang on a second. Yours thing came up differently here. Usually ask me about the audio. Okay, so if this doesn't work out to do it again, usually when I share, it asks me, do I want to add audio in?
Yes.
You know what? I see why. There's different kinds here.
Always share with audio.
Yeah, that would be nice, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens here. Okay.
It makes my job a lot easier. I don't have to talk through it.
There you go. Let's see if this works.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
No, but I can read
What?
I can read the words, but I cannot hear it.
Okay, that's what I was wondering because that's the case. Usually, when I do your share screen, it asks me, "Do I want to share the audio?" And I did not get that this time for some reason.
Okay. Well, we'll
Yeah,
try to figure it out. We're trying to figure it out. But I personally think the mayor is using it to build a list of one kind or another, whether it's who's voting and who isn't, or not, or whatever. But the people in New York are responsible for electing the mayor, so they're responsible for what they got because they got what they voted for. And will several of them leave New York? Yeah, the millionaires and billionaires probably will leave. and go somewhere else. And since Florida's in the running, I'm going to cut my mouth off right there.
Go and cut your mouth off right now, huh? Okay.
I don't want to say anything that will cause Florida to not be in the running.
Well, and so while I work on this in the background here, if I can do three things at once, which is usually not
Okay.
possible, but um, so their officers are on the hospital, and then the reporters asked the mayor, "What the hell happened? Well, what wrong? Why? Oh, they're just having fun playing snowballs, and yes, some of our officers got hurt. No one really, that bad, and the problem is that the police officers were not, participating. They were trying to get their job done, and they're being pummeled." And you know what? I don't think I'm going to share any of my videos today because it does not allow me to.
Well, that's no good.
So, tell you what, let me go out and come back in
Okay.
with a different browser, see if that helps. So give me
Try
3
that.
minutes.
Okay, I'll talk to myself for 3 minutes. No, I do want to say good morning to Barbara Ammons, who is watching, and to David Dobar, who is watching, and say anybody is welcome. So if you're out there and you're watching, you can come into the chat room. I promise I won't bite. And it's a lot more fun in the chat room than it is watching the broadcast. But I don't know, maybe you're somewhere where you can't have the volume up or don't want to have the volume up. So I understand that's why you watch. But it's more fun if you watch when you can't have the volume going. Anyway, Randy is back. So hold on just a moment.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay. Then we'll cut over to this because I know you're going to bring more cameras.
Yep. So,
Okay.
So that actually worked. So let me get the right screen here.
Okay. Yes, the right screen is important.
That's it. That's it there. Okay.
Okay. All right. You have sent me the right screen as opposed to the left screen.
Do you see it?
I do see it.
This should have sound now.
To a big
Can you hear it?
controversy out there. It involves New York cops repeatedly getting hit by snowballs by a
Can
crowd
you hear
of
it?
people at Washington Square Park in Manhattan. The NYPD commissioner and the head of the police union both calling it criminal. And Mayor Mamdani today is down playing all this, saying it's just a snowball fight. But the NYPD taking this very seriously, and within the last hour, releasing pictures of two men they're now looking for. NJ Burkett, live in Washington Square Park with...
Did you hear it? I can't hear you.
I turned me off so that I wouldn't be talking back during.
So you're able to hear the sound, right?
I did hear it.
Excellent. Okay, I had to change browsers. So essentially, they made an arrest, right? So they made an arrest, which is what you're supposed to do. And then guess what the freaking mayor does? He releases them the next day. In fact, some of them are in the same day. They released the guys they arrested for throwing the freaking rocks. And that's what they were. They were rock snow. And that's bull crap, because that's telling the bad guy absolutely nothing, right?
Yep.
You can be bad, you can do something against the police officers, and don't worry, you're getting out. And here's the follow-up to that. Bum.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I got to go over here and go over here and go there. There.
A story here in the city. The NYPD says it has arrested a man after the snowball fight in Washington Square Park, where several police officers were pelted. 27-year-old Guzmane Coulibaly was arrested this morning, and police say he was arrested in the past for an attempted robbery. News 4's Chris Glorioso covering it today. He's got reaction from that man's brother. Chris.
Well, the suspect was arrested very early this morning, his brother says, sometime after 4:30 in the morning. But at this hour, he still has not been arraigned. We're waiting here at the courthouse to hear the charges. A short time ago, I did speak with the president of the police union that represents NYPD cops. He said he believes the charge should be assault in the second degree. But as you say, I also spoke to this suspect's brother, who says he doesn't believe snowball throwing could even justify the arrest.
But to be honest, snow fight is snow fight. NYPD was not supposed to be there. People was there to have fun.
Asking us not to show his face for fear of retaliation from police. This man said his brother is Guzmani Coulibaly, the suspect accused of throwing snow and ice at police Monday. His brother insisting throwing snowballs was harmless.
They say I heard on the news.
Okay, hang on. You get past this
the
part.
police got injured.
Okay.
I didn't see no.
Balls was harmless.
They say I heard on the news.
At a police officer, so that is appropriate.
We're grateful that our police officers, our detectives, were able to find this individual, arrest them, and now it's up to the district attorney. We're hoping that this case is prosecuted. I said from the beginning when I spoke to the police officers after they were assaulted, they told me that the individuals, the vast majority in that park, were adults, and it proved to be true, as we know that this individual is 27 years old.
So, I can't see how a snowball can hurt you, but yeah, it can hurt you because it has a rock in it or solid ice.
A rock would constitute assault.
Yeah.
An ice cube and a snowball is a slush ball because we all made them as kids. Whether or not a slush ball could be considered assault is really for the courts to decide. But I think
as we know,
I think that it is.
New York courts are liberal, they're leftist, they're socialist. This guy's gonna get off, and betting 10 cents, you'll probably get some money out of it just to make him happy.
And I don't know if he'll get any money out of it, but he'll probably get turned free with probation that he never has to show up for, which is sad. But that's the mayor that you have and the governor that you have if you live in the great state of New York.
So, bringing us up to date, that's why we're honoring the military today, is we are about to go to war with Iran, Israel being our ally in this situation. I don't think at this point, I don't think there's any other nations backing us up with this, not that I'm aware of. I mean, obviously, they're allowing us to fly over their country. They're allowing us to use our military bases, which we pay rent on in their countries, to launch our planes from and so forth. So I know there's some of that going on. This little side note, when my dad was stationed in England for 3 years back in the mid 50s, we have several military bases there. And the Queen was young. She's only been on the throne for a few years. But back then, when the royalty really was royalty and looked upon as being very popular and very a lot of strength, our planes in the military situation could not launch from our military bases unless we first asked the Queen's office, could we please launch our planes from our base in your country? Because she controlled the airwaves. And if she would have said no, we would have had to do something different. But a couple of days ago, one of our drones, which we were using to, spy on Iran, it's $220 million drone. It just disappeared. Now, I don't have, I was trying to find something to go along with my thought pattern here, but I couldn't find anything in time. So I'm going to have to just speak it here. As you folks know, a few days ago, I mentioned about, alien space and how they're going to, according to these professionals, going to intervene if we do go to war with Iran, because the concern would be the next thing would be nuclear missiles being used. But so this $220 million drone, this is the size of a small plane. Okay, it's not like the little, hobby nobby kind of drone that he can play in his backyard. This is a big ass drone.
Okay,
it disappeared. Not a trace of it. Our sensors did not detect any type of missile strike from the ground to the air or air to air. It just freaking disappeared. Okay, they have no idea where it went to. And as far as this news report, they haven't found any wreckage. So I don't know. Did the aliens intervene and wipe out our drone, or did they get shot down? The Iran's taking the credit for it. They're saying, "Hey, we shot down. We're badasses." I don't think they're good enough to shoot down this drone. But
No.
here's this video talking about it.
Okay. Hold on.
Do.
There it is. No, there it is. No, there it was. Let's go back and hit it again.
No missile launch, no explosion in the sky, no wreckage, just a $220 million American surveillance drone gone. Over one of the most militarized waterways on Earth, the Strait of Hormuz. Now defense analysts are asking a chilling question. Did Iran shut it down using electronic warfare? On February 22, 2026, a U.S. Navy MQ-4C Triton lifted off from Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE. Mission: intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Altitude: nearly 33,000 feet. Airspace: international, south of Iran. Everything appeared normal. Then suddenly, the drone transmitted squawk code 7700. That's aviation's emergency distress signal. Seconds later, it vanished from tracking systems. No crash site confirmed, no debris recovered, no official Pentagon explanation, just silence.
Just silence.
Just silence.
And
Now,
the fact that the drone was smart enough saying, hey, mayday, 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 before it disappeared. They still haven't found it, as far as I know. So
I tend to think that it's going to be a war that China is going to switch sides if Iran closes the Straits of Hormuz and they can't get their oil from Iran, because I tend to believe that they have probably already paid for their oil, and so they're going to make sure they get their oil. Who they're going to have to drop sides with or what they're going to have to do, I don't know. But if their big ships are there with our big ships, I don't necessarily think the big ships are going to go at it with each other. They're going to go at it for Iran's benefit.
It's my daughter. She's a Democrat. I don't know how that happened, but she is. Anyways, she said that when I mentioned to her, "Did you hear what happened?" She said, "We went to war with Cuba." I said, "What?" She said, "We went to war with Cuba." I said, "No, we didn't." She said, "Well, we shut off their electricity and shut off their oil." And it didn't dawn on me at first that what happened was when we took over Venezuela, Cuba was getting their oil from Venezuela. So now Cuba doesn't have that oil to take care of their people as far as energy and so forth. So what's going to happen with that, I don't know. But on Cuba, did you see? I don't have a lot of information about a boat with Americans on it was in the waters near Cuba, and they got shot at. Did you hear anything about that?
I heard about it. I didn't follow up on it.
Yeah, I didn't either, and I suspect me in the face for doing that. But I don't understand what. I'll have to look into that later to find out, why the Cubans shot at us. I mean, if they're shooting at us because we were bad and doing something stupid, I understand that. But they're shooting at us to shoot at us, so that's an act of war.
But why we were on a speedboat in in Cuban waters is beyond me.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were going to go to Cuba, I would think that we would fire up a big ship and go to Cuba.
All right, not just a couple of small Coast Guard ships probably do it as well. So here is the next part of today's Red Shirt Friday, leading up to our big story. Oops, I want that. I want that one.
I want that one. There, I have to wait for that one to let me know that it's here. Hold on. Special report. 20 seconds.
The moment of truth is coming.
He's not sleeping very well. Look at bags under his eyes.
An unusual announcement. Iran is sending threats. We see new satellite images of F-22 aircraft already on the runway at a base in southern Israel. The most senior American commander in the Middle East briefed Trump on the strike options. In Israel, preparations are underway for the collapse of negotiations with Iran. And the assessment is high likelihood that Hezbollah and the Houthis in Yemen will join if Iran attacks Israel. This will be combined with all proxies of Iran. So Iran and the United States did not reach agreements in Geneva in the negotiations, but they are avoiding declaring a collapse. The gaps are too large. Witkoff and Kushner are disappointed by the Iranian delegation's remarks. The negotiations are over. Hezbollah threatens Trump, and the situation is so explosive that even China has instructed its citizens to leave Iran as soon as possible.
So, when the embassy start telling its people to get the hell out of Dodge, all hell is going to break soon. And the ambassador, American ambassador to Israel, now I get this. The ambassador to Israel is telling the family members and non-essentials of the embassy to leave and to leave now, not tomorrow, not the next day, but to leave now. And I think to myself, well, shouldn't you also extend that to any stupid American that's currently living or visiting Israel right now? I mean, shouldn't they also be leaving? Because we know, Israel being the heart of Christianity, there's going to be thousands, if not more, Americans and other citizens from around the world there, walking the same steps that Jesus did. So shouldn't the announcement to leave Israel extend to everyone, not just the employees?
The announcement should be directed toward everyone, but what I think is going on is that they're treating this as an act of war, and it's not just a Christian act of war, it's a total act of war. And maybe they think that bombs are going to come, and if it does, then they want to limit that, and hopefully they do. I don't think Iran has anything that can hurt us in a war, but we can do damage in Iran. And if, like I said, if China doesn't get its oil out of Iran, then they're in deep doo-doo. So they're going to have to go somewhere. So if anything, I think Trump and his team negotiates a sale of Venezuelan oil, and he becomes a hero in Venezuela because he's brought money that they haven't had before.
Iran has a decent amount of naval and air strength. I know they have a lot of submarines, and those submarines would be, I think, that'd be the biggest concern for our Navy, especially being so bunched up with the, I think it was like 3 aircraft carriers and their support ships plus all the other naval ships there. So there's a lot of American naval vessels in a small area, a body of water that submarines could, you know, do some damage. As far as their missiles and planes, we got that hands down. I think we can shoot them out of the sky before they even leave the tarmac. But my concern would be the submarines. Now, I'm a big lover of World War II, World War I movies. The old black and whites and so forth, John Wayne and so forth. And back in the day when they would film like the Pacific War, I mean these ships were close to each other, and they're just banging away, sending over artillery shells the size of cars. So it's not like today where a Navy ship can launch an attack against an enemy miles away. So I don't think their Navy ships are going to be much of a task to us. I think the submarines are going to be our big concern.
Okay.
But on our last broadcast, you wanted me to get something about the gentlemen who were given awards at the nation's speech. So I did find one. So here's one.
Okay, hold on. Let me get down where I'm supposed to be.
Let me get rid of that first.
Okay, you got rid of it.
Yeah, I was using the wrong one.
Oh, okay. Well, use the right one.
As opposed to the left one?
Okay. We're having a whole lot of fun drinking coffee and waiting for buttons to move like they're supposed to. I do not have audio on that one. Okay. I don't have audio from it. Okay, I'm gonna cut it only because I don't have audio on my end, so we have to tell. Is there audio? There was no audio while the president was speaking.
There's no audio?
Nope.
Oh. I mean, I was hearing it. Oh well.
Okay.
Anyways, we have maybe someone muted. I don't know. 'Cause I was hearing it on my end. But anyways, so and as far as I know, no one's said, "Hey, there's no audio."
Okay.
But essentially, was this soldier with the helicopter pilot? He planned the attack with him and several other Chinook helicopters to go into Venezuela to capture Maduro. And he got shot several times, but even with being shot and bleeding, he still managed to safely land his helicopter, let his soldiers down, pick his soldiers back up, and fly back home to where it appears. I mean, I guess the injury to his legs wasn't substantial as far as losing legs like that. But he got the award. So did the 100-year-old guy who fought in World War II, and posthumously. He also gave awards to the 2 National Guard people who were killed by the idiot.
Yep.
But so our soldiers don't know when or where they'll get caught up. Even after they spend their 2-4 years or even retire after 22 years, they still have, according to their contract, a period of time where they can always be called back. Based on their age, obviously, their age and their health. But it's like I've always said, we have 3 grandsons, and my wife always says, she's always, whenever she hears the chance of a war, will Chris, our son, or the grandsons get caught up? And I said, well, first off, it requires a draft to call them up into the military. But I said, you know what, Claudette, if we get to a point where we have to activate the draft, that's a serious damn ass war. And that's where after, all our, our, million plus active duty are in combat and we're losing, soldiers left and right, and we need to have replacements. If we get to that point where we have to activate the draft, it's a big war.
It is. It will be. It will be. And, but I don't know whether they will activate a draft or just activate taking whoever they want.
I mean, at this point, we have enough soldiers who are, still in basic training.
Right.
Some will have graduate basic training and doing their specialized training. So, shit hits the fan. They get caught up real fast, I remember when I was in basic training. I forget what the war was, but I just missed the call out. I was in basic training, and the next group of men coming in were being trained on special guns and other things because we're preparing for a potential conflict. Don't know what it was, but I missed that call up. So when they start, first of all, I would think if we went to war, and if the war had the backing of the majority of the American citizens, just like with 911. I still think 911 was us doing it to ourselves. No one ever convinced me otherwise. But you get the nation behind us, you wouldn't have to worry about a draft because the men will go in thousands, hundreds of thousands to join up voluntarily to protect our nation. And they do it because of the love for our country, love for the flag, love for our president, and so forth. So I don't think a draft would be required unless it's an international multi-country war.
I don't think it would either, but it may encourage a lot of Americans to what's the word I want? I can't think of it. Induct themselves. That's how I'll put it.
You said, yeah, you're right.
Induct themselves. Well, there's a word for it. I just can't think of it this morning.
Enlist.
Enlist. That is the word.
That is the word for today.
It's going to be a nasty war. I think if it gets to that state, it's going to be a very nasty war, and a lot of sides are going to get into it. And could it be World War III? Could it lead to your Armageddon? I don't know. I mean, it could, but I hope that people are smart enough to realize that if they ignite Holy Armageddon, then you're probably going to get Holy Armageddon. You're not going to be able to break bread and agree to what you agree with and what you don't disagree with.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking, if my memory serves me correctly, in Trump's first administration, I'm pretty sure he said something to the fact that he knew that he had to be very careful about what he does because he could be the president that brings our nation to Armageddon. And that was during a time where all the ministers of various faiths would pray over him and say, "You're God's chosen person for this. He's going to protect us." I think Trump knows that he can be the one that brings it all to a head, and that's why I think he's very careful at using ground foot soldiers and just keeping it more towards like an air and naval fight.
I don't think deep down he wants to do that. I think he wants to bring it to a, everybody gets what they want, everybody gets what they need, everybody gets together and works together. I mean, it sounds like Iran is in the middle of it, meaning that they are going to stop oil shipments to China. So the big thing becomes what China does about it, and or do they flip sides, or do they buy oil from someone else at the same time? And if Venezuela has a lot of oil to sell, they're gonna want to sell it. And does Trump become the distributor of Venezuelan oil? Yeah, that's probably possible.
Well, that's what he did. Trump has control of the oil in Venezuela now,
Right.
and he will not. Obviously, the Venezuelan government has, I think, asked Trump now for permission as to who they can sell their oil to, and I'm pretty sure China and Cuba and Russia is not on the top of that list.
Well, Trump has said before that China, that Russia, that other, if they want it, they can buy it, but it's going to cost them. I'm sure Trump is going to bring to the table that, hey, if Iran shuts you off, we can sell you whatever we have, but it's going to cost you more.
Well, I guess yeah, that's one way to make money.
And maybe there's no war because it will cost them more to buy Venezuelan oil. I mean, maybe that's the solution to the problem. Jack up the cost of oil, and hopefully there is no war.
Yeah, but the problem is
I don't think that's going to happen, but I hope that that's one of the options. Go ahead.
So that's what Trump's been trying to do with the tariffs and so forth, is make our enemies pay more than their fair share for several reasons. But he gets stomped down every time he tries to do something. I think right now he still has the ability to charge the tariffs, and there are some judges saying that we should get the money back. I think it was one of the major commercial companies. I think don't hold me to it. It's either Walmart, Target, someone was saying that if the courts get what they want, then they would refund back to the customers the difference in money, because I guess with the tariffs, they had to increase the cost of the product, and the people we as citizens had to pay more for. So if that were to happen, this company would refund back that tariff money to the people. It's like,
to me, that's a marketing scam that you have to listen to the companies, because realistically, the money is not going to come from the government back to those companies to give you the money back. So if Walmart is refunding $1 billion that was applied to tariffs, they're not getting the tax money to return. So what they're going to return, I honestly don't know. Or how they're going to return, I honestly don't know. It just seems to me like marketing scams to get you into their stores to buy your product. It's maybe, hopefully, Congress will say, hey, yeah, you can give money back to the American people if that's what you want to do. We'll come up with some way for you to do that if you're going to do that. But it just gets messed up to the point that I don't even listen to it anymore.
So
I don't think we're going to get anything back.
So going back over to comments, we have hello, Dave and Randy. Good morning, all from David Nobar.
Yep.
And Dave responds back, good morning, David Nobar. And they have
Thank
Barbara
you.
Amon saying, good morning.
Yep.
And Dave Glovin responds back, good morning, Barbara.
Yep.
And then David Nobar says, hello, Barbara. And then David
did.
Nobar says, an ice ball is an assault.
It is.
Yeah. And I like the fact that Florida has said to the specifically to the police officers in New York, but they also have extended to other states. If you are tired of being looked upon as dirt, essentially, in the eyes of your mayors or whatever the people, we would be more than happy to take you, and we'll pay you X number of money. We'll pay to have you relocated, and I do know that a lot of New Yorkers are starting to leave New York to go to Florida. My only concern with that is take the conservatives, take the Christians, and all the people who love Trump in our country, allow them to move to Florida. By the same token, though, you may get a lot of Democrats and leftists coming because of the fact that the price of living has scored higher. The rent's going higher, the food's going higher, the streets are full of trash, and the guy that they voted for isn't living up to what he promised.
Right.
So you may get a fair share of Democrats coming to your state as well.
Right, but I don't think they will be coming as Democrats. I think they will end up becoming Republicans once they're here. I don't.
That'd be nice.
I don't honestly know. Well, Mark Zuckerberg is rumored to be moving here with the house, the mansion that he bought in River, Florida, which is a very wealthy community in the state. And up the road from there is a data center that was previously built, hasn't been sold to anybody, from what I understand, that Facebook could look at. It couldn't handle the total global operation of Facebook, of course, but it could become, something very good for the state. But then again, the question relies whether or not the state starts billing millionaires and billionaires the 5% tax to live here, and everybody leaves here and goes somewhere else. It's just a mess.
I was watching this one show, and the conversation was talking about Amish and Mennonites.
Yeah.
And one thing that folks have to understand about the Amish and Mennonites is that the true Amish and Mennonites are the ones who lived traditionally according to how they lived when they first came here. They're the ones without electricity, without modern conveniences like sewer connection to the township. They have nothing to do with the government. They live off their own land. They dress traditionally. They speak German and so forth. Now, having said all that, over the years, the younger folks have been given the opportunity to experience modern day life for a period of a few months, right?
Okay.
There's a German word for it, and I can't think of what it is, but the young men and women can leave the farm if they choose to live amongst the English, and we are the English, okay? And if they decide they like that life, they can stay, but then they get shunned from their family and their church, which means they can never go back. The parents cannot talk to them. The family cannot talk to them. The church rejects them. Okay. But so that's the far extreme. But then there are cutoffs of the Amish Mennonites. One is called Black Bumper Mennonites, Black Bumper Amish. Some of the Amish and Mennonite traditionalists allow the folks to take in some of the niceties of being amongst the English, like electricity to the house, or perhaps a car. But they had to blacken everything. Now all the chrome has to be painted black, and so forth. and then their buggies have to be a certain shape. It has to be squared instead of curved. That way, people know that they are black bumper. They're not traditional Amish or Mennonite. So there are variations, and then when they move off to different states because of the onslaught of modernization, forcing them to sell their land, or too many other people getting killed or hurt by cars, they move out to different states like Florida or Ohio and stuff like that. And now those folks, though they have a beard perhaps, or certain, maybe some clothing that looks traditional, they are still not the original Amish Mennonites of Pennsylvania Dutch. Okay. So there are variations. They try to stick to to their form of religion, but then there are the extremes, and they do whatever they want to do. Like, for example, if you see on Facebook these men and women, and they're singing, they have a guitar or whatever, they're not traditional Amish Mennonites. Okay. They are just an offshoot of them because they are playing with instruments, and that's a no-no amongst the traditional Pennsylvania Dutch, Amish Mennonites. So
could be the Amish Mennonites in Pennsylvania need to come with it. I don't know, or the others need to decide that they are what they are and govern themselves. I mean, if you want electricity, I guess you will have it. If you want running water, you will have it. If you don't want electricity and running water, you won't have it.
I can understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep truth to their faith, right? Mm-hmm. And they see the world, and let's face it, our world, yours, my world, my world, we're screwed up, where we can, California just had a lawsuit where I don't know which parent wanted to transition their young child, but the other one didn't. And the courts intervened and took this child and transgendered the child.
Yeah. See, that's 100% wrong. Period. I'm sorry. That is 100% wrong. I'm getting to a point where I'm tired of listening to courts make decisions that that is not in their job description to make. Hear the cases that you're supposed to hear, make the decisions that you're supposed to make. And if you break a law in the Constitution as a judge or a jury member in making your decision, then hey, you get the book thrown at you as well.
Yeah, we're getting to the point in some respects of our way of life. We're no better than these other countries that we call our enemies, when the government can come in and take your child. I just saw on Newsmax, there's an area in China where if you don't toe the line, you get taken there, and you can just kind of disappear. No trace for you.
I can't speak for other countries, but hey, no, it shouldn't happen here.
So that's why, when I hear people talk about the Amish Mennonites, because I actually live here, and actually I almost became Mennonite. I don't know if I told you that, but I came very, very close to becoming Black Bumper Mennonite. But
you would not be able to make it in your business.
Well, no. I mean, obviously, my whole life would change, but I was 18, 19 years old.
Oh, okay.
And living my family life was, alcohol and cigarettes and so forth.
Yeah.
I didn't participate in that kind of my family life. And I saw this Mennonite girl where I was working, and initially, anyways, long story made short, I started going to her church and dressing like the Mennonites and so forth. And but during that time frame, I was in the reserves, the Air Force Reserves, and the Amish and the Mennonites are against the military. They won't support it. Okay, so when the guys, the age start seeing me spend more time with them, they asked me to move in with into the single men's home and so forth. And I said, look, I still got an obligation to the United States military. Okay. And I know how you guys feel about it. What do I do? And he said, don't tell anyone. And I think to myself, no, wait a minute. You guys are Christians. You're living the life of the Bible, and you want me to lie, if necessary, to the elders that I'm not in the military. That just didn't hold for me. And I went home to my father, and I said, Dad, why does the military, why do you, my dad was very ardent about me joining the Mennonites. I said, why is that? He said, Randy, he said, when I was in Vietnam, he said the Mennonites would send food, clothing, and medicine to the North Vietnamese, our enemy, who we were fighting. And he said, that's why I cannot stomach the idea of you become a Mennonite. And when I heard more about that, I realized that that wasn't life for me. But I came very close.
I don't know. I don't where it all goes. I really can't tell you. I guess you have to live the way you want to live, but you also have to live the way they want you to live, or you're not them. Or you, like I said, there's going to be offshoots of tradition that encompass what they choose to encompass. You're going to have Reformed Jews. You're going to have Reformed Amish and Mennonites. You're going to have conservatives, but again, I can't. You're going to have conservatives, but not Orthodox. You're going to have Orthodox, but not conservative Mennonites. So, everybody will change. But, in this situation, I don't know if everybody's going to get a chance to change to the way they want to be, because, yes, there is the possibility that all sides in this conflict are going to flip a switch and we're all going to go. But, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, because I don't actually believe that.
We're all going to go.
Well, we're going to get either dragged into a war, or the art of the deal is going to encompass making everybody happy, and that's what he's going to do. And whether or not you are happy that that's what he did, or whether or not you're all fired up for a war and didn't get it and not going to be happy with it, I honestly don't know. He's got 3 years to turn things around, and then he's gone. Does he screw that up for J.D. Vance? I don't know.
What do you think? I'll ask this one question, and then I got to jump.
Okay.
I guess right now, Bill Clinton is talking to the folks about his shenanigans. So, do you think he can? Okay, I got two questions. I lied. First question is, do you think he comes out of that unscathed, totally unscathed? And the Democrats keep saying that there's so much is redacted, and we know Trump's guilty. We know he's guilty. Do you think? So, second question is, do you think Trump did anything with Epstein's girls or boys?
I don't think he did. Going back to 2006, he turned in Epstein for doing what he does. And he seemed to stay solid to that point of view. But people on the other side want me to believe that he's a rapist and he did bad things to people, probably because we say Democrats did things that they shouldn't be proud of either. And Bill Clinton is one that everybody knows that Bill Clinton is guilty. Okay, both sides know. You honestly can't be Democrat and tell me that Bill Clinton is not guilty of what he did, because you've seen it just like we did. You've seen pictures of Clinton and a masseuse that obviously aren't pictures the Democrats are telling you of Trump and a masseuse. You have Bill Clinton, who was on the jet a bunch of times, and you have reports from reliable people that were also on the jet that bad things went on the jet. You have Hillary Clinton saying, well, no, I was never on the island. but you see pictures of Hillary that were taken
On the island.
from her being on the island. You have Hillary saying, I've never met Jeffrey Epstein, but you probably walk into all kinds of proof that she must have. Just like you have Joy Behar from The View saying, well, I was at a wedding that Epstein happened to be at, so that's why I mentioned in the files. Personally, I think that's BS. The same thing for Whoopi Goldberg. I wanted to use his plane to go away, and my people contacted his people, and I ended up not using the plane, but that's why my name is in it. Well, come on. We're old enough on both sides to know and understand what is going on. Our government should just be our government and tell us exactly what went on and exactly who went on. And it shouldn't be dragging people in to give depositions so that you can throw a book at them that you're never going to throw a book at them. William Jefferson Clinton Jr. was president of the United States. Odds are he's not going to be thrown into jail. Is he going to be put under house arrest or something? I doubt it, because he was president. Same thing with Obama. We're not going to go after Obama for everything he did, because he was a former president. But maybe we will go after these people because they're people that the evidence says that Obama did bad things throughout this whole thing. Clinton did bad things through this whole thing. Trump, we don't know whether or not he did bad things. We just know that his name is there. We have witnesses that were with Trump each time his name is in the files that say, no, he didn't do anything. Or Epstein's own people know he didn't do anything. So, I don't know. Is it true that he didn't do anything or not? And Hillary, as being Chelsea's mother, you wouldn't invite a person like Ghislaine Maxwell to your daughter's wedding if you didn't agree with what she does or have knowledge of what she does. You just wouldn't invite her there.
Yeah, well, Hillary was asked that question, and I got to go. A reporter asked her, she was saying, I don't know him, I don't know her. Well, then how do you explain her being at your daughter's wedding? Oh, well, she was the +1 to one of our invited guests.
That to me is a crock. That to me right there is a crock, because then you got to look at who the +1 was and figure out why he was there and what's his connection to the Clintons and what's his connection to Epstein and all of this. But like I've said before, a lot of people took a lot of money from Jeffrey Epstein and had no problem taking his money or using his plane. And there are good people that got wrapped up in this whole thing of just using the plane and going to places that weren't Epstein Island and not doing things on the plane. So we have to, they have to give Trump a chance to come and talk about what happened, and I don't think he's going to do it while he's president. No. So you got a 3-year wait on that. You have to treat him like he's an American citizen, which Democrats don't want to do. They just want to throw the book at him right away because your name was in it. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. And how much of it is political theater, I don't know. But there's a lot of it in there.
And Barbara Ammons agrees with me. She said that she read, Barbara, that Maxwell was a friend of an invited guest.
Yeah, so did I. I read the same thing. So then, like I said, you got to look at the invited guest and see what their connection to Epstein is and look at it, because I don't believe that she just happened to show up at the wedding. I don't believe that Joey Behar just happened to show up at a wedding that he was at. Because if you're against what he is accused of doing, he wouldn't have gone to the wedding.
Yeah. Now, with that, I gotta get going.
All right, Randy.
I guess we'll see you back on Monday.
On Monday. There is a chance that I may do something on Saturday. I haven't decided what time yet. I don't know.
Well, depending on what time and where I'm at, I might join you. Gotta go.
All right. Randy Rhodes. All roads lead to home genealogy. He is not the biggest, but he is the best. So talk to him, and he will answer some of your questions and show you what he does. And hopefully you both will be able to do business together. You do have to pay. It's not the most expensive, but you do have to pay for it. Unfortunately, that's where business has come sometimes. Anyway, I'm Dave Glovin. You're not. It's 11:06, and we're going to dismiss class for the weekend. Like I said, there is a chance that there will be something on Saturday. I just don't know what time. Tonight being Friday, you will see me on the American Rebellion with Chuck Cook, Jerry Michaels, hopefully Jed Woodruff, and anybody else that wants to join and have fun. Tomorrow you'll see me on the American Rebellion, and anybody else who joins in too. Again, Chuck, Jerry is always there because it's his show, but Chuck Cook, Jen Woodruff might be there, might not be there. A good place to have fun, have political discussions, and see what happens. Anyway, today at 5 o'clock Eastern time, which is 4 o'clock Central, I believe, over in Kansas for Jim. But at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, watch the Jim Price Show Daily Update. They're going to talk about the Memorial Day weekend float, regatta, or whatever you want to call it again, and ask Jim the question, where do I get more information? And I'm sure he will send you there. Edward Quinn was out yesterday and wasn't able to answer questions as we were all together. So watch Jim today at 5 p.m. Eastern time on Facebook. I know he's on Rumble because I bounced back and forth between each one yesterday. And you learn a lot of stuff. And if you do a podcast, broadcast show, whatever you want to call it, you are welcome, more than welcome, to post in our groups, and you're welcome to come on the broadcasts and speak your mind. Just remember that everybody is welcome to speak their mind too. We all do it in a peaceful kind of way, and everybody loves everybody. And if you don't, you might be asked to leave. I don't know. Anyway, I'm Dave Glovin. You're not. It's 11:08. Go make it a fantastic weekend. And somewhere here on the screen, there it is. We hit this one.